extension board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champion Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go round the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven? Get a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick. Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it. Makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. different colored vegetables, wind them together, and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat 'em. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato, and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now, the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this, drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few...
Hello everyone, how we doing this evening? Welcome, Rose. Thank you for the compliment. Although I sort of stole the video. It was free to steal. Gonna start off roasting some tomatoes here for sauce, so we can get that going and look pretty the rest of the stream, and it'll benefit from cooking a long time. Starting off with one of my better specimens of cutting boards or pans here, and I normally use parchment. Not going to use parchment today. What I am going to do is heavily oil the pan. The video seems to get more interesting to me the more I watch it. Especially now that I'm, like, It's like he's got a teepee built on his back for something. I think for his microphone or something, but technology is definitely improved. So, just using my normal cooking oil, which is organic sunflower oil. Well, actually, I'm using lard a lot more right now, but that's because I have a pig around the house. I need to go out and water the yard before I go to sleep tonight. Plants are looking a little sad right now. Welcome, Russ. Thank you. Grab my knife. My knife is actually in the drawer. And some Roma tomatoes. I'm just gonna quick quarter these guys and lay them in there skin side down. And I've already got the oven preheating to 450 degrees here. We're going to roast these, get these nice and jammy and maybe even slightly charred. And then the idea is to mix them with some onions that will have caramelizing and garlic and herbs at that point, or the dry herbs at that point. Let those all just simmer for a decent amount of time. And then puree it or food mill it, depending on how I feel at the time. Nice, nice. I got a couple tomatoes plants. These three little guys up here are my first tomatoes off of my own plants. The rest of these I've bought. But I have a feeling I'm going to have plenty of tomatoes later on this year. They have plenty going now that are small and green, and actually it's been a day since I looked, so there might be a couple more starting to ripen. And if you weren't curious, if I wasn't clear enough with what I was saying with the pan here, I'm using probably one of my less popular, less good quality pans. Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you for the raid there, Kirby. How is everyone doing? Brew Crew. I see Galen, I see Kirby, I see Fluffy. I see Rose. Oh, Rose has been around. How is everyone? How is everyone? I am just getting started here. That's my oven beeping at me, letting me know it's at 450 degrees. I have one of my lesser quality sheet pans here. It's sort of dented up and that. I'm not using parchment, and I've got it all covered with oil on the bottom pretty well. And then I just chopped up all these tomatoes. And I'm going to roast these off and make some tomato sauce. I am doing quite well, Kirby. How did the rest of your stream turn out? I was lurking in there for a little while. I've been sort of just laying around home, Been sort of low energy the last few days here. Salt, pepper. And I'm going to throw these in the oven. Thank you, Midget. How are you doing today? Nice, 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 Kirby. Heirlooms I'm going to throw in fresh. I'm going to save a couple of the, I may save the scraps, or actually I'll save some of the better parts of it for not next week. And for the pot pies tomorrow. Welcome, Star Seeker. Hopefully you're having a good day today. Yep, I just got the tomatoes in the oven here and going to actually start on making some ricotta. I still didn't get any cheesecloth, even though I went out to the store. And let's see here. So starting off with, the recipe calls for a whole half gallon. I'm gonna half this recipe. I've got plenty of mozzarella, so we're not hurting for cheese here. And let's see, it's my first adventure into making my own ricotta, so, and I'm not even doing it necessarily the right way because I don't have cheesecloth. I'm gonna be using a fine mesh strainer instead, I guess. Welcome, Absolucken. Pot pie on Sunday. I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna save a little bit of the tomato here. I'm gonna do pork along with spinach and green pepper pot pies. And so I'm gonna use half of this instead of the whole amount here. And let me see, what do I have for good measure on that? Again, this guy's got a cream top to him, so let's do this so you guys can see it. The little bits here are, this is practically brand new thing of milk. What this has is, now you can see it there at the edge maybe, is a cream top. There it is. Just a fat cap that was in there to help keep the milk preserved. Okay. I have these guys for coffee filters, but I think that's a little too fine, don't you? I've seen coffee filters said for that. I was actually really surprised that the store didn't have any cheesecloth. I am thinking instead I can use this guy right here. Hedgehog, this is from yesterday's stream. You tell me, do I do baking? Sure, okay. The coffee filter, I have a Hario, so it's these fine mesh, like paper. It'd probably be too much for that too. But I was sort of thinking this guy would be better. I could also go with... Yeah. Other option is from my stock making work equipment is I could try this guy too. And we need some acid here, either white vinegar or lemon. I am going to use lime. Nice, Rose. Yeah, I haven't tried making ricotta. I've done fresh cheese before. I've done like a lemon cheese a long time ago. I did that when I was just starting in culinary, I think. I've made shortbread. I'm not 100% sure that I've made Scottish shortbread. Not quite sure what makes it a Scottish shortbread either, so. But I have a horrible memory and I'm not great with names. Sounds like my type of item. Though tonight is Zinfandel. Let's start warming up the milk here. I have the stove mic off because of the fan. There's where I want it. We want to bring that up to about 200 degrees, so just under a boil. You know, 212 being a boil in Fahrenheit. Just light and foamy, no real boiling going on is what we're hoping for with that milk. And this might be more juiced here than I need. We'll see. Oh well. Thank you for the follow, Rose. So we'll use this for the straining. Let's see here. Make sure I've got this procedure right here. So we want to bring this up to about 200 degrees here. We're obviously needing to go a little bit there. And probably turn that up a little bit. The recipe here has only about a third of a cup, so that's definitely more than a third of a cup, so I'm going to only pour about half of that in there as far as the lime juice. I'm going to switch to a slotted spoon, which is suggested. Probably going to be using this like a knife eventually. Cool. Cool. Again, these bigger pieces here being purposely put into there by the company I bought the milk from. Looks like butter in there to me. I don't know how well it comes through on camera. Yeah, that's what it looks like, butter on camera too. Let's grab a bowl for that. So we're gonna have to let this sit with the acid in there for a little while. Add a bit of salt. About halfway there now. I say halfway there, but we probably started at 70, so we haven't gotten very far. And start in on the pasta dough after we get the onions going, onions and garlic going for the sauce. Basically doing the stuff that I know can sit around a little bit here first to get them set up and out of the way here. That way I can focus in on the pasta and all the other good stuff. Tweeting that I'm live now. Okay. There, did that. Should have done that before I started the stream. Hopefully our milk hasn't run away in temperature while I was playing around with my phone. Now we're only up around 125. We're getting there, slow but steady. This is one of those things that you don't want to rush the milk as far as getting it too hot too quick. sort of afraid to touch my stove mount much now because the plastic continues to crumble. I have a new option, but doesn't work great with the stove. Otherwise I probably would have switched already. I need another option. I picked up another little small mount that's like all metal, but there's no real good way to mount to this. I mean, there's actually a lip here, but there's nothing to grab to. It's smooth. Let's open some wine. Doing Zinfandel, which is more my line of wines. I'm probably making people tired of hearing that. But deep dark fruits, leathery, tobacco-y. Typically a decent amount of spice. See what we got. Rodney Strong has been impressing me this past year. To be bluntly honest, was not impressed by their other products. They have a lot of vineyards also have a lot of them will be growing olives, and so they'll be doing olive oils. They'll often have other smaller products that they're making there, and they'll use the wines that they don't sell, and they'll turn them purposely into vinegars. So I've had vinegars and oils from Rodney Strong. Wasn't impressed. Though that said, they were probably a lot better than your average. And I don't know why I put the wine key away. But their wines have been impressing me this year. Okay. I just gotta get a different wine key for the... I've got wine keys, but I need to start using a different wine key because this is the wrong key for most bottles. It works though. Oh, I just realized I don't have music going today. Where's my... There we go. Let's give this a shot. Nice dark purpley red. Yeah, let's do a little more in there. And they all like to claim that they're old vine Zinfandels, which I think mostly just says that a couple of them at least were old vines. Although you do see a lot of Zinfandel vines kept into older age. You have like really like tree trunk like vines going with some of these Zinfandel vineyards. It's definitely smooth and buttery. Oh, buttery's the wrong term. People get the wrong meaning from that. has almost like a fatty mouthfeel to it, sort of yummy. Definitely a little bit of spiced pepper going on there. Very smooth, very drinkable. I have a feeling that is going to pair wonderfully with a whole bunch of foods. I'm again liking what I'm tasting there. Although at the same time, the Rodney Strongs have been at the upper end of my wine drinking from the supermarkets. These guys are usually upwards of $20. I don't remember what that one is offhand. I'll give that one a scan here in a minute and see what the Vivino phone app says. Given a 4.0, and this one's they're saying that this one's pricier. I did not spend the $35 on this. They're saying average price $35. I didn't pay $35. We're getting there. I saw 170 there for a moment. There we go. I better get that turned up high. I keep looking at one, turn it up a little bit more, looking at one, turn it up a little more. Camera over here got shifted. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm just going to pour it from the bowl. I was going to try and measure it out and be more exact about it, but mess instead. Take a peek at those tomatoes down there. Those are looking lovely. They're just starting to get there. They're just starting to dry on the outside. Get a little color here in probably 10 minutes or so. Turn the heat up here again. It seems to be sort of plateauing here at 170-ish. Is it still saying that? I thought I edited that. Stream Elements seems very good. I'm really loving the overlays. I started using them since we moved over here to Twitch, and liking the overlays. The chat stuff is seems like it only saves the stuff you're doing like half the time when you're working with the chat stuff. Almost tempted to make a bechamel sauce too. Just go all out with cheese. Or was that a mistake saying that? I mean, I've got half and half for my coffee that I won't go through. I've got heavy cream that I could use for other things. And then I've got more whole milk, but $85, getting close there. Another 15 degrees or so in the high end. Thank you for the host, Jez. You hosted me because I was talking about using lots of cheese. Trying to get this up to 200 here. Making our own ricotta for our lasagna tonight. We got some lime juice that I fresh squeezed that I'll use for curdling our whole milk here. If this ever gets to 200, I've got a whole bunch of aroma tomatoes in the oven right now, roasting off, getting those all nice and dark and roasty and jammy. Therefore, cutting our cooking time way down compared to just basic tomato sauce where you just throw it in the oven or on the stove and leave it there for hours. But speaking of that, I wanted to get this off of this. It still isn't getting up there. No. I'm gonna crank this and just keep it moving. Hopefully we can get this up to 200 and move on. I don't need another 5-hour proof stream. Oh, that's a cute. Where is that from? Oh, it's a global emote? That's awesome. Evening, Gella. How you doing this evening? I am quite lovely. We are working on heating up some milk to make some ricotta. Thank you for the good luck. Welcome, Irish Cafe. How is everyone this evening? I see 190 now. It's still mostly 180s and even a few 170s, but I am drinking some Eau de Vin Zinfandel, some Rodney Strong supermarket wine. Which I paid under 20 bucks for, but according to my phone app says it's upwards of 35 bucks. The next couple of nights are going to be the Three Wishes Whole Foods $3 bottles of wine, which I did the first one of those, and that really impressed me for the Chardonnay. I'm not normally a huge Chard junkie. It's usually too oaky and woody for my style. Yes, absolutely. This is a nice wine, though. I mean, okay, cutting the wall. We got bubbles. Cutting the heat. I'm still going to add about half of the lime juice here. Give that a quick stir. Make sure that's well combined with everything. And instantly we have it curdling. And we're gonna let that sit for 10 minutes here. No worries, Des. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the host. So, gonna let this set off to the side here for about 10 minutes. Actually, I can set a timer here. And take a look at our tomatoes here. Make sure they're not getting too dark. They're doing fine. They're not even really getting dark at all yet. That was not what I wanted. Pulling out the big boy. And onions. That's not onions, that's potatoes. So, using one big yellow onion and one red onion here. Still didn't empty that compost. Getting a laundry list of things to do here after I finish the stream is gotta empty the compost, gotta water the yard. Gonna be lucky if it's light out. Which means I'll probably procrastinate and wait until tomorrow. And then I'll forget. And everything will die. Evening. Working on some lasagna action tonight. We got another 7 minutes on a ricotta that's right here in the pan. I've got some tomatoes roasting in the oven. I was just slicing some onions here to get going with the rest of our tomato sauce base. Sort of debating if I just want to throw. I've only got beef for tonight. I was hoping I could find some veal. The store didn't have any veal. I did not. I couldn't find. I went to the store, still couldn't find it. So we're gonna try and do it with fine mesh strainer. We'll see how it turns out. It's my first time doing it anyways, so if it's horrible, I'm not gonna say that it was a bad thing anyways. Like I was saying before, I've done like, this is actually very similar to like a lemon cheese, which I've done lemon cheese before. Lemon cheese being sort of like a light tart cheese that you can. And what I did with it was I did it like holiday time and put some dried fruit in with it. It's pretty tasty, as I remember. That was quite a while ago. I did that both in community college, which I went to before culinary school, and at home, my parents' place. Long time ago. I'm just tired of dealing with you. Skin. So we have some hard neck garlic, which, if you're not familiar with your garlics, hard neck garlics are seasonal. They're not available. They don't last the whole year like your soft neck garlics, which basically everything you buy at the supermarket is soft neck garlic. This is out of the farmer's market, and it can be some hard neck garlics. This is not that spicy, but some hard neck garlics can be as spicy as peppers. It's really, really cool, the diversity in garlic once you get outside of the just standard supermarket garlic. They do have that in a fair number of community school colleges. It's actually how I got into it in a certain sense. I took culinary classes at a community college and realized that I wasn't going to get very far from doing it, but you can go there and get that same education. White is going to be typically a little bit milder and less acidic. The red's going to have more of a bite to it. I'd be willing to eat either of them raw, but I'm not that big. There's people that eat them regularly, like apples. Just munch on them. That's true too. I mean, yellow onions are typically up there in bite too, but white onions are often pretty mild. Yes, like an apple. Just chomp right in. Peel. Some of them may not even take the peel off since it's part of the onion, but yep, just chewing on raw onion. People do that. How about this one? You guys fill up that mixer meter down there, which I have a 3-month timer on right now. And I'll do it here on stream. I'm not going to do the hot sauces and stuff like that, but I'll eat an onion, no problem. I won't eat the dry peel, but I will eat a whole onion. quiet stove. Okay, so next step in our ricotta is to strain our curds, which, let's get our onions sort of hidden out of the way here so I can show you what I'm doing with this. We have our curds. I have that and that here. Go back to the board. Sorry, I didn't realize I had that on the stove still. And grab my slotted spoon here and start slowly moving the larger curds over. Eye resistance to onion fumes? No, they occasionally get to me still. I will say that contacts help. I used to wear contacts for years. I don't wear contacts now because I got LASIK, but contacts definitely help. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate that, Entropy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you guys aren't familiar, that's going towards gonna get myself a mixer here to do more breads and cool stuff on stream. So thank you for that. And I will be true to my word, I will do that. So the last of this, I've got most of the large curds. There's still a few in there, but the rest I'm just going to pour straight through the... It's still a little warm. I'm gonna pour off a little bit of the whey here, just so that it's not sitting in it. It's still sitting in it. And gonna let that continue to sit there and drain up to the next hour. Let's take a look at the tomatoes, see how the tomatoes are doing here. Starting to get some nice roastiness here, mostly in the bottoms, but want more on the top. So what I'm going to do now actually is let me see if I have a spray bottle of oil right now. I think I got rid of that, yeah. I'm going to drizzle a little oil over the top of these guys now. I did put a considerable amount of oil on the bottom of the pan here, but going to add the extra oil on top, and that'll help give us some more color on the top now that they started to dry out. What oil am I using? I typically use for my cooking oils, I've got a ton because I broke down a pig here on stream. about a month ago. Actually a month and a half ago. I have a whole bunch of lard, but otherwise I typically use organic sunflower oil for cooking, which has got a smoke point upwards around 500 degrees versus olive oil is like 350-ish. Let's get this onion going on the stove, or onion and garlic going on the stove here. I'm not going to do the Goodfellas sliced garlic. I can slice garlic pretty fine with a knife, but this is all getting blended, so it's all going to get cooked and melted in there just the same. Yeah, I've been using it for about 2-3 years now. Mostly because it's on the cheaper end of organic oils. Not worrying about the stem that's in the center of these guys either, obviously. We're just gonna cook these down into flavor with the tomato sauce. Guess we're starting over here then. I got my zoom for over here, but it doesn't want to cooperate with me. Whenever the stove gets hot, it seems to like to cut out that burner for some reason. But this guy's a bigger burner anyways. So, a bit more sunflower oil. Just to get a nice light coat on the bottom of the pan. Noticing with that tip there that a lot of the dark and deep flavors to that is all in the nose, and the taste of it's just jammy, which is really nice. Okay, maybe a little bit more oil. Let's see if you can actually see what I'm doing here. I got my web pages overlaying my OBS. Not really. We'll angle this guy a little bit more this way if we can. That pan is getting nice and warm though. It's pretty heavy. This guy's got a pretty decent bottom to him, which is partially the reason I'm using them too. Be good for the tomato sauce, but he's got a heavy bottom on him. Okay. Throw the garlic in, just pull close like that. Turn the other mic on so maybe you can hear that a little bit. A couple handfuls here just to get that going after the garlic gets started. Smell that garlic already. Oh yeah, my house always smells good. Yeah, we definitely need to get that smell-o-vision going here for streamers. The TV industry has been failing us for years, for decades. We need to come in and show them how to do it. That is quite possibly true. I don't think I want smell-o-vision for certain streamers either. You got me wondering what the crypt would smell like to reanimate hers. Do a little cleanup, a little catch up here. We got this pan that I made the cheese in to clean up, which oddly enough, I don't know, maybe I got it too warm because there's a little color in the bottom of this pan. It's caramelized milk down there. Yeah, this one may be up there in the unfun to clean. I definitely immediately went for the heavier duty on-hand scrub rather than the lighter duty, let's just coat this in soap brush. Turn the heat down on these a little bit here. We're starting to get a little low on moisture compared to our searing here. This may be a little work to get clean. I got most of it here, but I think I'm going to give it a quick water boil. weren't supposed to pull off. Let's see if you'll turn on. There we go. So at least 2 of these burners will turn on. Take a look at those tomatoes. Still don't have enough color for what I want. We're going about 20 minutes over here now on the tomatoes, 15 minutes over. Ricotta looking like ricotta, so that would be good for at least 3 layers here in our pasta, I think. And where do I want to set that? Let's leave that back here. I need room to get going with our pasta, so I am going to do unweighed version of pasta this time. Changing things up again. Always new, always different. Yeah, a little bit of burner roulette. Yeah. I haven't been very happy with this stove lately. I do love that I have a gas stove, but doing 1 cup of regular good old AP flour. Getting it all over myself at the same time. And 1 cup of semolina. So, half corn, half wheat. Yes. Well, I'm now to the point where I want like a cast iron top to a gas range. I'm almost getting to the point where I want my place to be like industrial, where have practically a commercial kitchen in my home house. I want a giant hood with a near silent fan. I want all sorts of stuff. I'll never get any of it, but it's fun to want things. But yeah, gas versus electric. I grew up with electric as well. Sorry, Mom. I don't like electric. I know she's actually, I think, shopping for a new range and looking for a new electric range. turn those way down low because I'm happy with those now. Just gonna let those toast. And we're gonna add 4 eggs to our flour. Along with a bit of salt. The biggest change is the amount of gas. Just how much heat you can have immediately. And actually what I really want to do is build an outdoor kitchen at some point with... I've used woks. I've worked on wok stations at fast casual restaurants where you're just pumping out dishes. I love commercial woks and that just instant high 400, 500 degree heat with that giant burner. You're never going to get that in a home kitchen. I would love to build an outdoor kitchen with one of those. Don't have any decent olive oil, but if you have some nice decent olive oil around the house, this is the place to put a little bit of that in there. I'm not going to use any oil at all other than what the fats in the egg are going to provide me. And I said 4 eggs, I meant 3 here. Make a little bit of a well. Only, yeah, that's conservative estimate. Actually, the truth is I could probably do it a heck of a lot cheaper than that, but that's the sort of the thing about it is I'm not going to go out there and buy it. I'm going to buy the like commercial parts, but I'm not going to buy a full wok set. Though at the same time now, I wouldn't be surprised here if the next month restaurant equipment gets stupid cheap. Normally restaurant equipment holds its value very well, but with the way things are happening in the world right now in the restaurant industry, it's probably going to be a pretty good time if you want to pick up some equipment and have the money to do so. There's new places still opening around here. I understand what's going on there, but we got here in Sebastopol. There's a new barbecue joint opening up, but it's opening up. It's being opened by the person that owns the real estate. It's opening in the place where Dusky Estes' old restaurant Zazu was. If you're familiar, you watch Food TV. She's a local chef here, and she ended up having enough with her landlord there. I don't know what his deal is. that whole development of his has been a sort of disaster. Well, normally it's next to impossible here in Sonoma County to find restaurant equipment because we have at least two, but three different, I want to say, equipment supplies stores here in the county, and so they're all two of them both have used equipment areas, and they're just scouring, Craigslist and that for anything for sale and immediately picking it up and marking it up. So there isn't much availability here unless you want to do a drive, and then you get into San Francisco. Most of the equipment is East Bay, and same thing there. You have a whole bunch of people sort of controlling the market. I don't know about that necessarily, Getigation. One of the things I've been talking about lately, one of the things I'm sort of worried about with the industry is the proliferation of what they call ghost kitchens. And I don't really have an issue with ghost kitchens. I have an issue with what they're going to do to everyone else, so to say. Ghost kitchens being locations which are a single kitchen but are 4, 5, 6 different restaurants online. And you won't be able to tell that they're all coming from the same place. And in some cases, even major chains are getting in on that game. They don't have to pay for a whole new place, still get better service for people. But that really hurts the small guys that are trying to take their one little small kitchen and keep their concept going to go. It's going to create a consolidation in how much equipment we actually need. Oh, no, I'm not trying to I'm thinking we're due for a little bit of a consolidation in that sense. Yeah, with the Pretzel Rocks thing, I'm not listening to the stream, I'm not hearing what's coming off of my computer, and so I don't know what's playing. I'm doing that entirely. Kill a little bit of the odd background noise and stuff. What part of Michigan? I've spent a fair amount of my life in Michigan. Hey, Create Mode, thank you for the host. I've thumbed down 4 or 5 songs from just listening to it here in the kitchen when I'm not streaming. Doing well, Create Mode. How are you doing today? Did you stream earlier? I'm gonna let that dough rest here for a good 10-15 minutes here. I am familiar with Midland. Well, I know where Midland is. Not familiar with, I couldn't tell you where stuff is in Midland. Mitten maps. Yep. You get both of them, both the bottom mitten and the top mitten. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the onion oven now. Let's take a look at these tomatoes. Okay, I'm gonna go with these as our tomatoes. I still want a little bit more color, but I think the pan's starting to get a bit roasty. So we're gonna live with this for our tomatoes here. And so these guys just get dropped in here. Oil, tomatoes and all. Now this is the cleanup job of tonight. And this is why I was using, like I said, less desirable pan, and it's a little bit dented up. And I made sure and oiled it really good. So we still have a decent amount of stuck on there, but and there we go. So we got tomatoes, we got onions. I don't know, Grand Rapids prison. It's close to Jackson. Yep. Lake just Traverse City and the dunes. Lots of cool stuff to see in Michigan. Got a gauge. Oh, so you're familiar with ice cream places that use truckloads of fudge and whipped cream too, then? Through that, I opened the vent up purposely on that and threw that down in the fridge, so hopefully that'll cool down and rest while we're working on some other stuff here as far as cleanup and that. I think the ricotta is done draining here, so I'm gonna move this to a different container as best I can here. I do not remember the name of that place, but I have been there a handful of times as well. And I'm almost happy that I didn't buy cheesecloth. I mean, look at that. That was no problem at all right there. I don't know, maybe I could get a better yield with cheesecloth, but that was pretty good right there, I think. Is it just Jackson Dairy? Is that what the name of the place is? Or was? I have no idea if it still exists. I mean, most people, I think, who have been in kitchens here in America have seen those like long gooseneck sprayers that they use for sinks in a lot of places. This dairy I'm talking to him about uses those, but they use them for whipped cream and toppings. They create like monstrosities of ice cream. Ah! Quit spraying me! Ah! I'm all wet. Got it all over the counter too. The parkour, sort of like the skateboarders without skateboards. Yeah. Me liking that wine. I'm gonna hold up. I want to save this for dinner. I don't want to waste that all here on stream. Sorry, guys. Drinking an old vine Zinfandel from Rodney Strong Vineyards. I, as typical, paid less than 20 bucks, but my web app, I was looking it up earlier on stream. Apparently, they're saying this is a 35 bucker, but they're not selling it themselves. Typically, I take a not a sponsor, but I use Vivino app on my phone, which just lets you take a picture of the label, and it gives you all the info on the wines. And I don't do ratings on it very often, but usually it'll give you a price range, an average price, and typically that's slightly higher than the price that they want to sell it to you at. But usually pretty decent on their price range at the same time. Oh yeah. They want you to strike on. It's a community-based rating app, but they're also obviously trying to sell you as many things as they can at the same time. Primarily, it does off of a 5-star rating, but it also does keywords off of other people's ratings. Yeah, I sort of, well, most of the big guys and most of the ones you're going to find in the supermarkets, they have their supermarket wines and then they have their better wines. And so, and that goes for pretty much all of them that are in there. I think there's actually pretty few wines that are actual vineyards. You know, it's not like Three Wishes here where we're, you know, buying the cheapest grapes and just blending. But Rodney Strong has some very nice wines, and if you go to their vineyard, I'm sure they have some very, very nice and very, very expensive wines available too. But yeah. But for Zinfandel, this is I wouldn't be surprised if this is closer to 20. but it's not at the same time, like, it's Rodney Strong Vineyards, but it's non-specific as to which vineyards of theirs it is. It's just saying Northern Sonoma. So, the more specific ones are going to be more money. The ones from specific blocks of specific vineyards are going to be even more money. It's sort of like whiskey. You get everyone gets the blended ones for the cheap generic whiskey, but then you'll have the special barrels that they'll sell as exclusives or small batches or. And that's sort of the hard part when it comes to wine, because you can find good cheap wines that are just blends that are actually cheap, but you're never going to learn the intricacies to get into the really expensive ones that way. Yeah, create mode. I actually had a bourbon barrel Cabernet like a week ago. Those are good. I like those a lot. They're not great for drinking a lot of. Like, they're one of those wines you don't want to have like one glass of, sort of a thing, because they're just so rich. They're vanilla-y. They're like drinking a dessert, but they're savory. I would guess it was probably the sugars. It's really the sugars that get to people with wine, I think. The sweeter wines and stuff like that. Those lactose sugars. That could be it too. It could. All sorts of ways you can screw up wine. Could have just been the bottle too. That's the other thing with wine. I mean, you're preserving it with a cork, and so you're entrusting this entire bottle's quality of the cork. I didn't talk about the cork on this one. This is a sort of generic, pretty fine particle cork. This is obviously one of those particle board like corks. Yep, 19 Crimes. I don't think I'm familiar with it. I don't know if I've had that one. But, yeah, they're definitely there with the blended wines. I should probably turn the heat back on since we got tomatoes here, don't we? I'm going to add a little stock to this, I think, to give us a little bit more moisture and liquid. Let's see if I got anything in the way of stock already defrosted here. I do. We got some pork stock. It's going to be slightly over 2 cups there. Yeah, it's definitely one that I've noticed for the marketing. The marketing gets me a lot of the time with the ones that I'm... Of course, if it's fun for me to say in the store, it's going to be fun for me to say here in the stream. It's good, so. I haven't done all the Najatois and stuff like that too that are available in the market. Okay, pasta time. Gonna move our galette over here. Gonna get out my roller. Start rolling some pasta here. Pull out the pasta queen. meant to do that. Castello. Not sure what you're referring to with that, because I know a little Spanish, but not that much. Okay. So our pasta dough's been hanging out down here. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to. So we got our pasta dough here. I'm gonna smash this guy down quite a bit here, so you can get through the rollers possibly. Always a little fun trying to get it started. You need to get it pretty thin. Devil's Basement, huh? Yeah, that doesn't sound too far off there from. And as wide as we go here with our pasta rollers. And that caught right away, which is quite awesome. It's obviously going to take several turns here. And what we're going to be doing with this is, first off, is we're going to be aligning all the gluten, all those like fiber strands of gluten, all in the same direction. So it's going to start off sort of shredded and in partial pieces here. Still a little too thick. So I'm doubling up that. That has made it through at this point. Oh yeah, that's why it's the price that it is too. The Arkansum, I'm probably butchering the proper pronunciation of that, is only $600-700 by itself. It's the grinding and sausage attachment that's an extra $400 or $500. The whip that's another $100 or $200. Well, that's what my current fund down there is for. And I've also made the new pledge here during stream today that if we get that filled up here during the timeline here in the next 3 months, I'm going to eat a raw onion on stream. since I don't do hot stuff, I'm not going to do hot shots or something like that. But we were talking about people eating raw onions, and I was like, I'll do that. Yeah. We fill up that guy. I'll take a yellow or a white onion. I'll peel off the sides. I won't eat the stem or the dried outsides. But the rest of the onion, I'm going to eat like an apple. Right here on stream. It won't be a red onion, but... Oh yeah. So this is our first time through after doubling up once. We're gonna double that up again. I forget who it was, but someone was saying earlier that they were amazed that people do that. And I was like, yeah, people eat raw onions. I don't have a problem with raw onions. I'm going to keep doing this until we get nice smooth. You see how it sort of looks rippled and sort of rough still? It's not a smooth dough, and so we're going to keep going here. Just doubling it over and running it through on the thin end here until we get a nice smooth dough that's all in the with all the gluten. I want to say fibers. It's not really fibers, but they're sort of fiber-like. All sort of going in the same direction, or protein strands all going in the same direction, which gives us a chewier noodle, which I'm looking for because I'm going to be doing these about as thin as this roller will go, so I can do a lot of layers to the lasagna. See, that's much smoother now, even just after one more roll. I hear some bubbling going on back here behind me. Yep, we got some bubbling going on. Still working on a good way to get this thing. It doesn't hook well onto the side of my counter here, and I've tried using. I've got a cutting board that I use over there for things like this, and I've never found a good way to get this thing to. I really should probably just like permanently attach it to a cutting board or something. So this guy's starting to get pretty smooth here too. I'm going to give him one last turn here. Through one last double up and run through. Okay. So, down one size without folding them in half. Down another size. So we're on number 3 now. Started with number 1. I know, counting's rough. Meant to do that. You are not an admin. You do not have the option to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have all sorts of weird clips now. Imagine if I could, someone clipped my Super Bowl champagne. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to talk about that. Now on number 4 here for our pasta roller. And I think I'm gonna double this up one more time here. Starting to get some, the sides of this, we're starting to get some tearing from the sides. And doubling up, we're gonna help us with that. Oh, it gets pretty good. It's still pretty sturdy, especially once you develop some... I mean, you can actually see it like running through there. It's all linear. So it's pretty well. Sorry about that strike yet. Up to number 5 now. We're going up to 5 of, I forget if it's 7 or 8. It's 7. So, getting there. This is, I'd probably compare the thickness of this to sort of a thick linguine. we're coming out is a little bit more like a thin linguine. You can see we're definitely getting some more length to this now too. This guy's got two cutters on him. It's got a sort of a linguine-like length, and it's got an angel hair-like length further. What I'll often do is I'll just use my knife after rolling it out though. On to level 6 here, and I think I'm going to cut this big boy in half, somewhere around here. Because we're gonna probably double these in length by the time we get to that last 7th one, so. This is what 3 eggs and 2 cups of flour will get you. Even here at the second to last, almost able to see through that. Maybe if you got direct light, you can see through it. And thinnest layer should be pretty well able to see through with a little bit of light going. This is now feeling sort of construction paper thick, thin. We're still not to our thinnest level here. We still got one more layer to go here. You can see that gluten just pulling away. And number 7. So, yeah, thin enough that you can basically see through it with a light. But later on next week, I'm going to be doing shrimp and pasta, so I'm going to be doing this again. And I'm really happy with the way this recipe of pasta has turned out, so I'm probably going to replicate the same pasta again, but I'm going to do more of a linguine cut with it. Do like linguine with shrimp and a cream sauce with some, I forget what all else I promised to throw in there, so I'm not going to say the wrong thing now. There's our first 2 thin layers. this side. Nice long thin sheets. One last one here. This is going to be probably a bit more pasta than I need. We'll see. I don't know how many layers we're going to end up with here. I'm trying to do a lot of thin layers, so I think I might actually do that bechamel now, just so we have a bit more saucy cheesiness to go in there with our homemade ricotta. I didn't really know what to expect as far as how much volume I would get out of the ricotta. I could have probably doubled that. Well, I could have probably done the proper recipe, which was double that. Okay. So we have lasagna pasta. Unwind. There we go. Throw him back away since he's just done with the dry pasta here. Reduce our tomato sauce here. Let's see if we can't get this guy going and get some bechamel going on here too. That front burner just still doesn't want to work for me. I don't know what the deal is here with this stove. It's just recently started doing that here in the last year, where it doesn't look how much gas I'm using or how much heat's going on. I don't know what it is. I'll put you over here now. Let you hang out like that. I cut this butter lengthways for something else earlier. So a little bit heavier, thicker of a cut there, shooting for about heavy tablespoon here of butter. Get that going on the stove here. Use the spoon I used for the ricotta. the amount of flour in there. All that flour and butter gets a little bit of cooking on there. Don't want to do a dark roux, don't want to do even a blonde roux here, but do want to make sure that it gets cooked before we start adding the dairy. And add a whole bunch of milk in here, whole milk. The rest of that whole milk, so I don't want to use all of it. I'm going to use a little half and half since I'm not going to go through this just for my coffee. And heavy whipping cream, we'll hold on to that. We'll maybe make some whipped cream a little bit later on here. I'll bring that up to a heat, to a boil, so that it thickens again. Well, what I'm going to do is I might do two, but I'm really just looking to do one loaf pan of lasagna here. Might end up, I think I'm probably going to end up doing two, which means I may freeze one. But same pans I used for the bread last night. Non-stick loaf pans. And so we'll cheat here with our size estimates. As far as how much flour we're using. Oops, me. As for hungry people, it's going to be feeding me. As everything on this stream does. Be dinner tonight, be dinner tomorrow night, and this is going to be probably dinner either Monday or Tuesday night as well. Sunday going to be doing pot pies. Odds and ends pieces here. Yep, definitely going to be doing two pans with all the pasta I got here. I've got 2 pounds of beef to go with this too, so. I appreciate lurkers, I appreciate everyone just hanging out with me. I'm not in any rush to shoot to anything or get some sort of... I'm just hanging out here and doing my own thing. Yeah, just a few noodles. So I'm cutting them roughly to the size of my pans here. Actually a bit larger than the pans, but as you'll see, with the pasta being this thin, it doesn't really matter too much if I get a little bit of dog earing up or down with the things with the pasta. That'll be more obvious a little bit later on here though. So, just a couple layers of pasta there. sauce. I need to pick you up. I hear you. Nice and thickened up cream sauce there. Let's add a little water to that. And we'll let that simmer and cook that flour flavor out. And add a little mozzarella to this at the end. So we'll have mozzarella besh. We'll have our tomato sauce, which I got a puree. And we'll have meat. And we'll have actual ricotta. Homemade ricotta. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 layers, so 7 layers in each pan. Smell that flour off of that roux still. So, gonna puree our sauce. No, I gotta do a little cleanup here first. Let's do a little cleanup. Continuing in our round bottom ricotta pan. Gotta do the dishes to make room so I can get to the blender here. That's the plan. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, Luna Good Buddha Good. It's a cute name. Working on making some lasagna here, doing a little cleanup here first off. We got our pasta sauce that's ready to be blended. I'm gonna throw that in the Vitamix here after I get a couple dishes out of the way. We got pasta made up. We got cheese sauce in the works. We got some homemade ricotta that's ready to go. We're almost to building level here. I gotta saute the ground beef and finish up that cheese sauce, but I might add a bit more water to this just because it's gonna continue to cool or cook and thicken. Cheese is going to thicken it up a little bit more further too. We need a good 20 minutes or so here to cook that flour flavor out from the roux. cold. It's like impossible to get out. You gotta like scrub the metal off the bowl around it. Okay, let's pull the blender out here. We have big commercial Vitamix XL. Press this butter away. Now let's grab the ladle for this. Get the flame off here. Spatula, not ladle. So, if you haven't been following along, what we had there are roasted Romas, along with onions and garlic, a little bit of stock. I'm going to toss in my little fresh guys from my own garden here and leave the rest of the heirlooms out for right now. But these guys are just going to go in whole and fresh, straight out of my garden. So we'll have a little bit of fresh flavor and fresh acidity there to go with all that roasted and deep jammy tomato as well. Put that there and mute the stream here shortly for a little bit. Okay, and so we now have our blended tomato sauce. Nice and smooth and creamy. Have our cream sauce continuing to cook over here. Make sure we don't got anything sticking. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. And onto the beef. Onto the beef. Please turn on for me. clean up here. Looking a little tomatoey here. We're gonna keep that cooking on the back burner. Front burner doesn't want to work for me. And we've got meat on the pan here. A little bit of oil to start our ground beef off. And I'm going to pull it straight out of the fridge. I normally have my beef out to get it close to room temp. I didn't do that today. We got a little bit of, we got about 1.6 pounds of beef here, and it's half chuck, half ground round. All pasture raised beef, because I'm not a fan of grain fed. Maybe for the occasional steak, but yeah, it's just too sweet. Just don't like it. So, salt the beef up here. Leave it as one big slab for our initial sear. Get that pan nice roasted hot here. Make sure we're up at full flame. I would not leave to wait for that pan to warm up a little bit. Get our pan smoking hot. Smoking. Sort of surprised my little burner over here is doing pretty good for keeping that pretty hot. And smoking with sunflower oil, not olive oil, so 500 degree smoking, not 350 degree smoking. Sort of surprised. They usually have one of those little like diapers with their beef these days. There wasn't one in that pack. There's no beef diaper. I think that may be my new favorite culinary term. Beef diapers. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm saying when I say it. so we don't get the smoke alarm going off. Lovely beef searing. So this is our ground round. Not the brightest pink, but it is relatively fresh. Still nice and warm back here. We'll add some dried oregano to our beef. And a little white pepper, a little onion powder. Any onion powder that I can still grab that's still powder-like. It's all clumped up on me. Let's see, anything else I want to throw in here with this? I think I'm going to leave it with that little pepper and MSG. Add a bit more moisture to our vegetable since it's thickening up again. First batch of ground beef off of the flame. Still there. Another set of of beef here. This one does have a beef viper. Beef diapers. Beef diaper. Salt, pepper, MSG. We got 3 months. You don't have to rush it, but yeah, I will eat onion like an apple, no problem. How you doing, Entropy? Your night's still going well? I didn't even check. It's good that my overlay's updated for your donation. That's cool. I was having issues with that back on Mixer. Good. I have that effect on people. I don't know if I caught that, Luna. Thank you for the follow. If I didn't say, oh yeah, I did say Luna Puda good, because cute name. Okay. Never quite sure if I could. Don't get all the audio and stuff that you guys do, so. Okay, I'm gonna call that good for our second ground beef here, or second ham, and I'm gonna get the oven going here for our lasagna, or back on for the lasagna to actually finish its bake, because we are ready to start layering here. I gotta add a little mozzarella and shred a little mozzarella, but we are ready. We have our ground beef. We have our pasta sauce. I have a little wine. Put the pasta off to the side here. I need a little room here to do our mozzarella. Let's see if I can strand this at all. I want some of it like stranded in stringy pieces here, longer pieces than. I guess I'm probably just as good throwing that through the group. Through this guy. How did that stay on? The plastic isn't there, but the label stays on? That'll be a good amount for my sauce here. We'll throw that in the sauce. Cut the heat on the cheese sauce and allow that to cook through with it here. Actually, I'm gonna add a little moisture to that because that's too thick. There we go. That's some sauce there. Cheese sauce. Talk about cheese sauce. That's a cheese sauce. Oh, you thought that was all the mozzarella I was using? Cooking for myself, folks, not worried about contamination. Just wants to break apart. sort of funny when I'm cooking. It's really what got me into cooking in the first place. Is don't get hungry when you're in the kitchen because you're sitting there staring at food all the time. Okay. So I think we're ready to start layering here. Meant to do that. So we're going for 7 layers per pan. Start off here with a layer of sauce, which I'm sure the pan will enjoy. Tomato and tomatoes. Great combo. We do want some moisture on the bottom there. Make sure when things cook, they stay nice and moist. First layer of pasta. You'll see what I mean here with the dog ears. I'm not really worried about that. It'll work itself out. Handful of beef. A little bit of mozzarella. We'll call that a layer. Napalm sauce back here. Cheesy. Cheese pull of dreams there. You know, people wish they could get a cheese pull like that for their pizza pictures. Let's do some more mozzarella here. And a bit of sauce. Third layer pasta. Pushing down, making sure each layer gets nice and full. Another handful of beef. Let's do a little sauce too this time. I'm obviously not keeping things very standardized for every layer here, but still gonna be yummy. Let's do our ricotta. It's so thick that it doesn't want to spread. Beautiful stuff. Love this ricotta. Looks gorgeous. more sauce. Just because I need to use up like half of this meat when I add more meat to this layer. Sauce. Meat. Cheese. And I believe this is our 7th layer here. Let's double check I got 7 more over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Awesome. So, bit more sauce on top. Bit more cheese on top. Bit of that fancy Italian grated cheese on top. And there we have our first lasagna of 2. Every time I touch that pan, I get cheese all over my hand. Last of our homemade ricotta here. Let me try a little of this just of my own. Ooh, I like that. That's the lime made a nice touch to that. It's almost got a little bit of an almondy, like light, bright dairy flavor to it. Sorry. Last of the meat and sauce layer here. Just because this one's going to be a little saucier than the other one, because, well, using up the last of the sauce. There we go. Not enough cheese. It's not orange. Sort of a dark red. So maybe just lightening it up is what it's probably doing. Add a little bit of our fancy Italian grated cheese on top. I'll take a look on the VOD and see if I need to adjust. Well, I can't really adjust this guy too much. The webcams, you can't really adjust them because you start adjusting them and they actually start hogging your CPU power because they aren't designed to do it. I can maybe adjust this guy up there. That guy should be a bit warmer than the other two. But that's a actual camcorder, but it's a 1080 camcorder. It's nothing expensive or exciting. Okay, need to clean my cutting board here. Starting to look a bit sloppy here. I had a little bit of scrap left over in case I need to fill it up, but at all I don't need that, so I'm going to toss that. And then what I'm going to do is, what did I do with my little? Oh, I got rid of you, unfortunately. We'll take this guy. And with this dog ear pasta, I'm going to take a spatula here, just force it all down. So we have nice, clean, smooth sides to lasagna, and all that's poked down rather than up, and so it gets all soaked and smooth and supple. Same thing for our other guy here. An oven that I forgot to turn on. Alright, so I think I am going to call the stream there. I think we've had a good 3-hour stream there. We have our lasagna ready to go. But basically all I'm going to do is bake this off and take pictures. So, you will find pictures probably in about an hour on my Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. Let's see if I can't spread some love here with all you lovely people that have been hanging out with me tonight. Let's see who else is out here in the worlds. Yeah, why don't we do our normal Friday thing here? Let's go and watch some nice chill pottery. Thank you guys all for joining me this evening. I appreciate all of you. I will be back here on Sunday. Going to be doing pork pot pies, summer style pot pies. These guys are going in the oven here as soon as the oven's ready. And I hope to see you guys soon once again. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night.